With a successful NFL draft cycle and process, Penn State quarterback Drew Allar's stock is on the rise.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I'm Damian Parson, and on today's episode, I'm breaking down the stock market, the stock report right now, guys who fumbled the bag this draft cycle and hurt their stock, and their stock is slipping a little bit. And we're going to talk about the guys who made themselves some money and has risen their stock this draft cycle. Let's get it started with Drew Allar, quarterback out of Penn State with 6'5", 230 pounds. If you remember during the season, his season was a little topsy-turvy, a little inconsistent, which has been a consistent part of his draft process or his collegiate career, I would say, even going back to his full season in 2024, where they went to deep into the college football playoffs. He's always been a kind of streaky, inconsistent quarterback from an accuracy standpoint, mechanics, so forth and so on. And this season, 2025, he got, I believe it was the beginning of October, suffered, I believe, a broken ankle, which led him to pretty much being out the rest of the season. We weren't even sure if we were going to see him at the combine, except for just medicals, weigh-ins, measurements, and the podium. And then he got to the podium and said, "I'm throwing." Right. And it was reported earlier that week or the day before he got to the podium and said he was going to throw, and he confirmed that Friday morning. So that was already a check mark, right? Oh, we get to see you throw. And overall, if you go back and look at his throwing session at the combine, he did fairly well in terms of, for guys coming off of, rehabbing the ankle. That was his intention, to be ready to roll and ready to rock at the combine. And you saw accuracy, you saw the immense arm talent and the ability to just drive throws with. He's got a near elite arm. When you're talking about being able to put the velocity and RPMs and everything you need to drive the ball in the middle of the field, but also the ability to push the ball vertically with that same power and ferocity, right? He's got the horsepower in the arm, right, to gear it up and push the ball down the field. He can do those things for you. So I think he was able to showcase that. But even for me, it was the mechanics where I saw, there was still some, again, inconsistencies with his ball placement, whether it was sometimes a little bit too high or even just the control. But you saw him settle in throughout his workout where, okay, if I like to see a quarterback, if you do miss, right, because that's why I like when they give him back-to-back reps. If you miss on that slant or the throw wasn't perfect or good, it was like, we can live with that in the game, but we want it to be better. The next rep, can you figure it out? And I saw him figure it out in real time. I love to see that from players in general, not just quarterbacks, but all players, right? So just throughout the drill work, he did good. Now, then you get to his pro day, which was, I believe, yesterday, early this week, and I believe the report said that he came out and stated that he was fully healthy, right? So that's a good sign for teams thinking about, hey, we get you in the rookie camp. Because think about rookie minicamp, you're getting into the NFL system, and you're learning the playbook, you're learning this, and we're working on that, so forth and so on. Before the vets come in, before like things really pick up, we get to really get hands-on and let you be a big ball of clay for us. And even at his pro day, he had some good throws where the rollout, roll out to his left, throw back to the right, and everything. Like just the showcase the arm talent. There was a throw where you wanted to see him. I think it was more anticipatory, more than ball placement. It just was like he was kind of waiting for the break of the receiver, but he kept the ball inside. He didn't, it was nice spin control on it and everything. It's just, hey, you pull a little bit, you let it go a little bit late. You want to see him just get it out there early, stuff like that. Hey, it's against air. Just rip the throw. Just rip the throw. Don't put too much on it. And I think that's one of his big things is you can just see him, right, working through the mechanics, trying to keep the mechanics sound, but while also not putting too much on the throw. But I think he's helped himself at the combine. I heard that teams were higher on him than Twitter is, and which makes sense. It's typically like that. Either Twitter's too high or Twitter's too low on the player compared to the NFL and how they evaluate and how they go about it. And when it pertains to Drew Allar, one of the big things was simple. The NFL, when you're 6'5", 230 with a rocket arm, functional mobility, like teams are going to want a guy like that, right? So And I just heard this week recently that a team like the one team that's definitely interesting is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you think about the fact that you have Aaron Rodgers coming in, and I'm not saying at 21, but I do think that he's a day 2 pick, more than likely second round for teams that, hey, we went BPA round 1. I can take him in round 2. And I continue to say, I said it when I broke down Drew Allar's profile a couple weeks ago. Around this time last year, none of you wanted anything to do with Tyler Shuck. Right? And now we're getting Shuck tonight. That's the only thing I'm saying. Now we're getting Shuck tonight. We didn't want anything to do with Tyler Shuck. Now he goes to the Saints, and now we see what it looks like once he gets to sit, watch, step in, and just play free. Yeah, I'm just saying, don't be out. Bo Nix, right? Bo Nix, man. I've said it before. But coming up next, guys. So yes, Drew Allar's stock is on the rise, but another player's stock that's on the rise is Oscar Delp, tight end out of Georgia. I think he's worked himself into being a top 100, top 75, maybe a top 60 pick. We're going to talk about that coming up next. College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night from early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts. There's always action on the board, and now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want. Rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits your read. You can mix spreads, totals, and player props to match how you see the slate playing out. Look at the odds around your favorite team if they are still within the season. And if so, go safe, go bold, and ride with the team you've been following all season long. It's your parlay, your style, now with even more upside behind it. So head to FanDuel.com today to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. Don't forget to check out the Everydayer Club for ad-free episodes, as well as you can join our Discord and just chop it up with us. Talk NFL, NFL draft, football with the rest of me, Keith, and the other Locked On NFL Draft listeners. You can put your fan mail questions in. You can ask us specific questions, and we're doing something special in the Discord as well, where we're going to do mock drafts and let you put your do a 7-round mock draft for your favorite team. Drop it in the chat, and we'll break it down here on the show. But you got to be an everydayer of the Everydayer Club. Tap the link in the show notes or go to lockedonnfldraft.supercast.com to join. Oscar Delp, the tight end out of Georgia. Got to meet, if you're an everydayer, you've heard me and Keith talk about him. Feels like since we took over in 2023, 6'4", almost 6'5", close to 6'5", 245 pounds. This is a guy that blocks well. He's a willing blocker. He looks like a grown man tight end. Looks like he's still got some room on his body and his frame that, hey, you know what, maybe we bulk you up to 250 and feel great about it. But nonetheless, when you look at Oscar Delp, his stock is on the rise, right? This is a guy that played the season, played 2025 for the Bulldogs with I believe, a hairline fracture in his foot. Okay? Like, that is crazy. And that was found at the combine off of one of the x-rays, right? That was accidentally found. This is something that wasn't known. He didn't know it and everything like that. He still was out there blocking his butt off, giving full effort, running routes, running full speed. This is a guy who just has a motor, and he's a type of mental makeup you want on a team. So when you talk about Oscar Delp, I want every part of Oscar Delp on my football team. But here's the thing, at his pro day, because they wouldn't let, like, I believe his agent and everybody, they wouldn't let him work out at the combine. Let him rest a little bit, see how he feels. This man went out here with his vertical was 38 inches. He had a broad jump of 10 even. He ran 4.48 to 4.5 per multiple scouts at his pro day. Matter of fact, yesterday on the 18th of March. So you talk about a guy that looks the part. He's an LTPer for me. He looks the part. He plays the part. Georgia's not known. I'm telling you, and this is not my opinion either. Well, it is my opinion, but it's a fact. And then I know scouts who feel the same way. Georgia's a great program. They just don't, especially after they lost Todd Monken, they don't typically do a good job of highlighting and utilizing to their full extent of their offensive weapons. Zachariah Branch has people create a mental model that Zachariah Branch is only a gadget receiver. I promise you, watch his movement skills, you can see and put parallels to Zay Flowers if you put him in that role, right? So maybe he's a Cleveland Brown wide receiver on day 2, or the second or third round, and fills that role for Todd Monken. Maybe Isaiah Bond does that. Who knows? But nonetheless, right? Him, like if you're a running back, great, you're going to be utilized correctly. But outside of Lat McConkey and Brock Bowers as of late, like who can we go back to and say, man, they really utilized that guy and really showcase that he's a first-round caliber talent. Oscar Delp could have been, to me, truly, he's one of the most talented and clearly athletically gifted tight ends in this class and in the country of college football. And if he went anywhere else, I promise you he puts up 1,200 yards if he doesn't, if they utilize him the way that most teams could absolutely open the playbook and allow a big athletic tight end that's a full-blown mismatch, just run it and dominate, man. But nonetheless, I think his stock is on the rise with that type of athletic testing, also while not having a healthy foot. So what if he doesn't have the hairline fracture? Is he a 4.4 guy? 4.45 guy? Is he teetering closer to that Kenyon Sadiq speed range? Man, I'm telling you, when you watch the film, you see him open up that stride. He pulls away from defenders vertically up the seam on wheel routes, things of that nature. He runs good post routes, corner routes. He's a good route runner. He has a nice little rocker step for tight end as well. And he's got strong hands. Okay, and again, he's going to give you. I think you can continue working on his pad level and everything as a blocker. And we'll do a full breakdown, Keith and I, of Oscar Delp. I can't do one without him because I know he wants to talk about his boy. He loves Oscar Delp. But the point is, for me, guys, it's simple. Oscar Delp's his stock's on the rise. Again, before this draft cycle, he was probably looking at being a 4th round, 5th round pick for most people. And now he's trending upward into that top 100 range. I doubt he gets out of day 2. I don't know if he gets out of round 2. With the fact of you look at this tight end class, Max Clare, Michael Trigg, Jack Indries, Eli Raridan, who I'm going to do a breakdown on next week. I love Eli. Eli Stowers, another Eli, right? Sam Rouge, Dalen Bentley, right? Tanner Koziel, Joe Royer, Nate Borkacher. Like this is Riley Nowakowski from Indiana, right? This is a guy that block. He's an H-back. He does a lot of different things. But the point is, this is actually a pretty good tight end class. Justin Jolie, like this is a talented tight end class, right? And I think that there's a strong chance that a guy like Oscar Delp could find himself as tight end 2 behind our guy, Kenyon Sadiq. So that's all I wanted to say about that. I think that he's moving himself up to being a potential tight end 2, at worst tight end 3 in this class, where somebody's going to say, let me get him. And like I said, I can't wait to do the breakdown. I'll give you comps. All of that. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. We're gonna talk about it. Probably we'll see if we can fit it in next week. We got our top 10 tight end rankings that we're gonna drop on Monday. Stuff like that. I can't wait, guys. I can't wait. But coming up next, we're gonna close the show out with 2 bag fumblers, 2 guys whose stock for me is dropping, and I think not significantly to where they're late day 3 guys, but their stocks definitely dropping based on testing and the decision not to test and things of that nature. So we're going to talk about that coming up next. It's tax time for a lot of us, but the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment, that's not the most convenient. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go on about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing that your taxes are being handled right. So head to turbotax.com/local right now to find a store near you and book your appointment. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in America. It's all because of you. Starting off with the bag fumblers, the guys who fumbled the bag, the guys who did not play or has not performed to the liking, or maybe they just decided not to perform specific things. I got to go to a guy that for me was near dear in my heart. He's a running back That's Jonah Coleman out of Washington. Still like Coleman, but I think he's more of a true day 3 running back. I know some people may have him as RB2, RB3. I'm not there with that. Coming into the season, and I always knew that top end speed was never his thing. But for me, it's like this: unless you're going to Xavier Restrepo yourself, you know what I mean? Where you're going to run a time that's just so unappealing, where teams are like, yeah, you're undraftable. If you're not running that bad of a time, come on, like we're good, man. Jonah Coleman right now is my RB6. Okay, I have a high 4th round grade on him. He's a day 3 prospect for me. Natural runner of the football, vision. I think he's got some short area quickness and burst, bowling ball build, and everything. At 5'8", with 220, just short, stocky, fire hydrant, rolling downhill, right? And he's good in pass pro too. But it's the top end speed and the unwillingness to run that 40 and just give us bro, if you ran the 4.6, I don't think it matters. If you run 4.8, yeah, okay, that's different. So in training, did you train for the 40? Did you test it out? Did you see what your fastest time was going to be? If it was anything less than a 4.6, run it, man. Run it. If you're 4.7, 4.8, okay, then maybe not. But for scouts, and that was one of the questions I just have, but scouts that I know have for him as well, is like, what's that top end speed look like? You don't pull away from defense as much, things of that nature. He didn't test at the combine. I think he might have I think he might have done field workout at his pro day, but he didn't test there either, right? So I think it's just a missed opportunity for Jonah Coleman, and I think it hurts his stock a little bit because, again, typically it's you guys are everydayers. You've heard me say this. Is the 40 time the end all be all? No, it's not, right? So do we overhype it every year? Yes, we do. But when there are concerns, right? When there are concerns from scouts refusing to run it, all that does is amplify the concerns, the questions. It makes it louder. It makes it the elephant in the room, because then it's like, okay, well, how fast are you? What does the GPS say? Well, let me look into, now they're trying to figure out, what is it? What does your top end speed really look like on some form of clock? They need some data, however you pronounce it. If you're a data guy, you're a data guy. If you're a data guy, you're a data guy or gal, whatever. But they want to know, they want a number, right? Whether that's, hey, he's at 19 miles per hour at top end speed. Okay, cool. Okay, he's a 4.6 guy. All right, fine. They don't want something. They don't want to put N/A beside it all the time. So I think he hurt himself. And then another guy that I, again, near and dear to my heart. And for me, I didn't expect him to test the way he did at the combine. And for me, it's Reggie Virgil out of Texas Tech. I came in a little bit too hot, man. Maybe I came in a little too hot. I was hype off of the pro day, but the Senior Bowl where he was out there just killing it, man. He had a great week in Mobile. 6'3", 187 pounds, 31 and a quarter on the arm, 9 and a quarter on the hand. But he ran the 4.57 with a 1.58 10-yard split. He had a 36-inch vert with a 10.7 broad. I felt like he was faster than the 4.57, but clearly he was not. And I think for me, I dropped him down. I think I had him at round 2 at one point. When I first watched him again, and even went back to the Senior Bowl stuff. And I'm like, all right, let's piece together where I may have missed something. And I think for him, it's the lack of instantaneous burst and acceleration. He's not a first step quickness receiver. So he doesn't have that burst, that first step, that juice off the line to threaten guys vertically. And I think he's a good route runner. I feel like he's a pretty good technician and everything. I think that's how he's going to win and whatnot. Again, 187 running close to a 4.6 is tough, right? You could put yourself in the Van Jefferson State area where he's a good route runner, he's a technician, but he doesn't have enough juice and explosiveness and top end speed to truly be a threat at a high level in the NFL. He'd be more of a wide receiver 3-4 journeyman type. I think that's kind of where that can put you. But I do still think that Reggie Virgil can be a good player on a team. I just don't see him being, at this point now, going back to the film, I was a little amped. The film left a lot to be desired, and then you see at the Senior Bowl. The Senior Bowl, he was able to do different things where he wasn't asked to do and allowed to do, in my opinion, at Texas Tech in that offense. where you see more well-roundedness and more nuance and attention to detail. You see that technical aspect of his game, split releases and different things like that, using the hands better versus press, whatnot. So talented player, solid player. Like I said, projection to be more probably wide receiver 3-4, wide receiver 3 probably being the highest I would go at this particular time. I think the athletic profile is going to leave him with I think the floor is safe in terms of what he can bring you. I don't think the ceiling is elevated much at all inside that draft house that is Reggie, Virgil. But guys, that is the show, okay? Breaking down the back fumblers, the stock down prospects for me during this NFL draft cycle, breaking down the moneymakers, the stock up guys, Drew Allar, Oscar Delp, the tight end out of Georgia, how they've helped themselves this draft cycle, whether it's with testing, on-field workouts, what have you. They've done and answered a lot of questions for me and for some of the scouts and teams for what I am hearing as well. And as always, guys, go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. On tomorrow's show, we're breaking down Dillon Thieneman, the star safety out of Oregon. We'll have that on tomorrow's show. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.